So you've probably noticed something looks different. New name on the screen, the new artwork, and maybe for a second you thought you hit the wrong show. Well, you didn't. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Empower Hour with Jaresha is now Empower on Purpose. And I want to spend the next few minutes telling you why. Because the reason behind this change isn't just about the rebranding. It's honestly the most important thing that I've said on this show. So let me take you back for a second. When I started Empower Hour with Jaresha, the idea it was simple. I literally wanted to launch a show. I wanted to have a platform that opened up for leaders, motivators, and influencers to be able to share their stories and the stories behind their success. And so I can remember when the idea even came to me or even was presented to me of having my own podcast, having my own platform, and how excited I was. When I tell you the excitement was very, very real, there was nerves. I felt like all over the place. However, over the years, it has truly been an amazing experience. An amazing experience being able to connect with leaders, motivators, and influencers, to have them come on the show and spend the hour, hence the name Empower Hour with Jaresha, just empowering the world for growth and success. And so, if you've been following and been a part of this journey, you've heard me share stories. Initially, when I first started, it was I want everyone to share their stories. And so when I initially started, I didn't share my own story. I literally had to get comfortable in my own voice, get comfortable with where I was at that time. Because if we can be honest, when I started again, I told you the nerves were there, but yet I did it anyways. I was so nervous to interview anyone. I had no idea, like, what am I going to say? How am I going to comment? And mind you, all of this, when this show initially started, was live. We were not just a podcast, we were a radio show as well, and it was live. So, talk about no pressure, right? No pressure, but yet I felt like all the pressure was there. I felt like I was expected to, jump in and just know everything and be perfect. And I soon learned when I initially launched in 2019 that that wasn't the expectation. Because anytime you're doing something, you know that you're supposed to be growing. And so I stepped out of my comfort zone years ago, launched Empower Hour with Jaresha. And so when I tell you the amount of people that either has reached out or the emails that I have received just over the years with those that are wanting to share their story, or those that are on the flip side of that have shared how they have been absolutely inspired, motivated, and empowered through hearing Empower Hour with Jaresha. And so today, I just want to let you know that we are evolving. We are evolving. I'm super excited. If you followed the show, you know that I've taken a break simply because, as we all know, life happens. We should be continuing to grow and evolve. And I had to pull back, regroup, reset, refocused. And here we are with the rebrand. And I really want to be completely honest with you about something. This change isn't just about the show. It's about me too. Because here's the thing about teaching empowerment. You can't ask people to grow and then refuse to do it yourself. So over these seasons, over these years, I have evolved. And so my understanding of what actually changes life within my own life, within the seasons, has evolved as well. And so the conversations I've had with guests, with listeners, with myself, they have truly reshaped what I believe this show is supposed to be. And when you're growing, when your work has to really grow with you. So I believe staying the same when you've outgrown something isn't loyalty. It isn't loyalty. It's fear wearing a comfortable outfit. So this show is evolving. We are evolving. I'm extremely excited. We're growing and we're doing it on purpose. And so I feel like just like I've asked, and I've been asking you to do this all along through this journey. And so I have to tell you, if you can't tell in my voice, that I'm genuinely excited. Like the excitement is so real. It is so exciting for me because I feel like when you feel like something has kind of been like your baby through the years, through the steps and it's like, okay, I knew I had to pull away to take a break, but at the same time, I knew I didn't want to completely stop. Like I knew that I had to pull away to work on things, right? So this new chapter isn't a pivot away from what we've built. It's what everything we've built was preparing for. So every episode, every conversation, every one of you who has stuck around, it was all leading here. So we're not turning the page. We're starting the chapter we were always meant to write. And guess what? You're in it. You're in it. So here's the new name. And I need you to really hear what it means, empower on purpose. Now, many of you that have been around for some time knows and understands that empower on purpose was that is my business. That's what I've built. That is, I feel like who I am at core. And because here's what I've learned from my own life and from so many of you who have messaged me over the years. Nobody becomes powerful by accident. Nobody drifts into confidence. Nobody stumbles into discipline. The people who actually change their lives, they do it on purpose. It's deliberate, decision by decision, day by day, usually quietly with nobody clapping. And so that brings me to the sentence. This entire new era is what I feel like it is. It's what it's built on. And if you remember nothing else from today's episode, I want you to remember this. Power isn't potential, it's activated. And let that sit for a second. Power isn't potential, it's activated. When I launched Empower on Purpose, I understood years ago. And let me just say this. It's been 10 years since I had the vision for Empower on Purpose and what it truly meant. And for those of you that know, we call it EOP for short. The vision for empowering others for growth and success, and understanding that again, power isn't potential, it's activated. Because potential it's comfortable. Potential lets you feel destined without ever being tested. Everybody has potential. Potential is free. Everybody has potential. But potential never sends that hard email. Potential never keeps the promise to yourself. The potential has never gotten out of bed when you know you needed to do that thing. Potential has never started or launched the business. Potential is free, but activation is the work. Activation is the work, and activation is what we do here now. So, let me tell you what this actually means for the show and what I'm saying and what is staying. And so, what's staying is me. It's me. I am here. It's the realness, the conversations. Because if you've been here for a while, you know I love sitting down and having conversations with leaders, motivators, and influencers who have actually walked through the fire. So those interviews aren't going anywhere. And some of the most powerful moments this show has ever had came from guests saying the exact thing that somebody needed to hear. But here's what's changing. Every conversation now runs through one filter. So I'm not asking guests about them to share light, to share their, just the highlighted reels anymore. I'm asking about the switch, and I'm diving into that even deeper. And it's the moment that they stopped waiting and started moving. Now, and if you've listened to any of the previous episodes on Empower Hour with Jaresha, you've heard me ask the questions. But this is new. This is evolving. This is so amazing to where I have listened to some of the comments, some of the things that I've heard over the years from the listeners. And I know how I feel as well. So we're going to get deep down into it. We're going to get deep down into it. And simply because what activation actually looks like is when nobody is watching. When it's not pretty, when it's just a decision made in the dark. Because you don't need another success story. You don't need the blueprint underneath it. You need to know that moment that activated, that moment that sprang them into action so that it can empower you. And understand that I will never, ever sell you a fantasy or pretend that I've got it all figured out, because I don't. Remember, I just told you when I launched this show, I had no idea what I was doing. All I knew was I had a vision. I had a vision, and that's all I needed, because as long as I had that vision, I was connected to people who was able to show me how to bring that vision to life. So understand, I will never pretend to have it all figured out. This won't ever be the hustle culture either. And that's a promise that I give you. So whether it's me or I have a guest joining us at the table, every single episode from here forward lives in, I feel like, 3 different lanes. So one, it's mastering your mind, the overthinking, the mental noise, the stories that you keep telling yourself, because you can't build anything on chaotic, like on a chaotic mind. And then the second lane is rebuilding your life. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling behind, starting over and doing it on purpose instead of by accident. And then 3, reclaiming your confidence, boundaries, that self-belief, walking into rooms like you belong there because you do. So we're looking at mind, life, confidence. And so here's where you come in. If you've been here since the Empower Hour with Jaresha day, since we initially launched, then I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for continuing to rock and roll with us. And I mean that. There's even still to this day, there are so many that continues to listen and support. And so to me, that means in you believed in Empower Hour. And so I hope you'll stay. I hope you'll stay. And I hope you'll grow with us, because that's what this new chapter is. Not me talking about or talking at you about growth, but all of us actually doing it together, out loud and on purpose. And so if you're brand new, welcome, welcome. Come in and stay for a while. You picked the perfect time to walk in. The perfect time. And listen, if you're in a season right now where you feel stuck or behind, or like everybody else got a map that you never received, I want you to notice something about this very episode. You just listen to me today admit that this show had outgrown its own self and change. And I've done it publicly and excitingly, but yet a little nervous at the same time, because that's what evolving looks like. It's allowed to be all of the above. So whatever it is that you've been circling, whether it's the restart, the goal, the version of you waiting on the other side of one honest decision, consider this today your permission slip. If the show can begin again, so can you. Now hear me, because every single episode from this day forward, you're going to hear me close. And from now on, this one is yours. So keep it. You're not behind. You're becoming. So every week you're going to get a new episode. So hit follow so the new era that we're building and growing into finds you automatically. And if you know someone who needs this shift, who needs to hear this, send them this episode. That's how this grows. One activated person telling another. So this is Empower on Purpose. I'm Jaresha Moore Smith. And understand, power isn't potential. It's activated. Now let's get to work.